it'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do. But the Knicks are at a point now where they don't have to blow it up. They may still do so, and they have a right to do so, but with trading the 4 first-round picks and the pick swap for Mikal Bridges, the Knicks don't have a lot of room in regards to actual picks to throw at people.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
GameTime Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And welcome in, a very happy Tuesday to you. It is Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as we are getting ready, of course, for a huge week in the world of sports. We've got a major coming up, the U.S. Open. In fact, on the PGA Tour, will anybody beat Scottie Scheffler? We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. Of course, we got a all-important Game 3 in Indiana tomorrow night between the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we do have on Thursday this week a game, well, number 4 in South Florida here with the Panthers dismembering Edmonton last night up 2-1. What will happen in Game 4? We'll talk about that. And you mix in, of course, we got 15 Major League Baseball games tonight to dive into. And who better than to do that than Mark Zinno, our good friend, jumping in here on Game Time Decisions on this Tuesday. And loaded card here tonight, Zin. A lot of games getting ready to start here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Everyone's a big Pittsburgh fan now, which I find ironic. But I guess when you're playing the Marlins, of course you're going to be a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah, I kind of feel like last night was the night to back him. I mean, and the problem here is that, look, Mitch Keller has been so good as of late. I know he had a bad start against Houston, but he's been really, really good. And I feel like this is a spot where I don't want to get involved, given the Pirates feel like they're due for some regression at some point in time. And it feels like they're going to actually, start to lose. And I don't know. It's just not a matchup I really got involved into. I tell you, Joe, I got to be honest. The matchup that stuck out to me more than anything is the fact that the Orioles were a favorite over the Tigers. Like, I get the fact that, Brant Herter is pitching for Detroit and, it's really an unknown commodity. But Cade Povich has been really good as of late for the Orioles for the most part. But in what world should the Orioles be a favorite over the Tigers, who are one of the highest scoring teams on the road? That number makes no sense to me.
Listen, they did seem to turn things around a little bit over the last couple of weeks, Baltimore, but can't trust them. And I'm with you. I don't care who Detroit throws out there. Total, too, hasn't moved, which I find fascinating as well, Zin. It's just stuck at 9, acting as if I thought for sure this would have been bet up to 9.5, but we've got nothing there. Listen, one of your favorite pitchers is going tonight in Colin Ray with the Cubs, taking on the Phillies. Phillies bounce back, winning extras. Do they go 2 for 2 against the Cubs here tonight?
Yeah, and they kind of needed it last night, didn't they? With the win that they had. So, I joke around. You can't spell diarrhea without Ray. But again, another guy here that has been a little better than expected. When you look at the numbers that he's been up there, he's been pretty consistent. A very modest 3.5 ERA. For a guy like him, though, more than anything, he's got to keep the ball in the ballpark, and that's really what the Cubs need him to do. Outside of Washington, he had 2 back-to-back starts against Cincinnati where he got rocked, gave up 6 runs in each of them, and that really shot his ERA through the roof. But other than that, he's been pretty consistent this year. In fact, he only has one other start where he's given up more than 2 earned runs, and it was against the Giants at home. So every other start has been really, really solid. I would back right here. Look, the Phillies bats feel like they felt a little silent as of late. And I think that's kind of, for me, what kind of sticks out that, this is a Phillies lineup that isn't really hitting all that much as of late. And they've had some injuries to Bryce Harper, has been out of the lineup for a bit and, in and out. So, again, not a spot that I really felt like I wanted to be involved with because the Cubs score a ton of runs here. And then again, Mick Abel is a really relative unknown commodity here, only making 2 starts. And, what are you really going to get out of him? You don't know yet.
Well, we should get a pretty good outing from Gore and Canning tonight. The two of the top pitchers with the Mets and Washington. The total I thought was fascinating because I thought it would have gotten bet up at some point, but it's hovering right around 7.5 here. So is it a pitcher's battle tonight, Sin? What are we looking at there?
I think so. I think the under comes in here. Like, there's a couple of interesting things at play here. It's interesting to note, I bet the Mets this morning at around -150 on the money line, just because I felt like it was a good spot where they are. Interestingly enough, the Mets are only -125, -130 for the first 5 money line. And that's obviously because the Nationals bullpen is really bad. It's hard to leave him out of it. I like Mackenzie Gore. I like him a lot. He's given up 1 run or less in 3 consecutive starts and no runs in each of the last 2. He's going to give up some runs here, right? Like, I don't think he's going 3 consecutive shutout starts, especially not against this lineup. Furthermore, in 2 starts last year, Gore was 0-2 with a 6.75 ERA. The Mets are 9-3 when Canning starts this year. He's already beaten the Nationals once, pitching 5 scoreless innings here. The Mets offense should get to Gore. Again, one of the higher scoring offenses in all of baseball, particularly over the last 2.5+ weeks for the Mets here. I bet the Mets on the money line.
Fried versus Cameron, lefty on lefty, Kauffman Stadium. Going to be a warm night. Yankees in a rout, or I'm again shocked that this number wasn't bet up from the total perspective as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, Fried is always going to keep the number down, right? Especially with Fried coming off of a really bad start his last time out. Not sorry, two starts ago against the Dodgers. He had a very good start last time against Cleveland. Was 1 hit over 6 innings and no runs. I mean, you expect that to be the case for him again. And I would think that the thing is with the Yankees, though, it's which offense shows up. Is it the one that scores 8 runs or the one that scores 2 and has 3 hits? Like, it's hard to know which level of consistency you're going to get from this Yankees offense. Noah Cameron is a young starter. I don't know how good he is. I don't know how bad he is. It's just hard to know at this point in time, given, again, we got a very small sample size here of 5 starts this year. He's also faced some pretty, fair lineups in the Reds and the Twins. I mean, he got the Cardinals twice, which was good, and the Rays back in April, who were a very different lineup than they are right now. So I don't know which Yankees lineup shows up here, but I feel like a first 5 under probably is the way to go because I would argue that if the Yankees don't get to Cameron early, they probably won't do it late. They're probably going to take advantage of him earlier on in the game.
Yeah, 5 is, I think, that first 5 total, too. Interestingly enough there. What are you thinking with Atlanta? I mean, you've told me a number of times they shouldn't be laying money on the road against anybody. No. Good game last night. Do we trust them tonight?
I mean, it was different last night with Chris Sale on the mound. Do you really trust Grant Holmes? I don't. And Chris Sale went, I think, 7 1/3 last night. Grant Holmes is not going 7 1/3 tonight. Like, I know that Brian Stickler doesn't want to use his bullpen because it's god awful. But not only that, closer Rafael Iglesias had a 5-out save last night, so I don't know how quick they'll go to him again. Grant Holmes is not a starter that I want to back. He's given up 11 home runs this year. Quinn Priester's on the mound. The Brewers score a ton less at home. Can't figure out why. They're a much better team on the road. I kind of just lean the over here overall, just simply because, again, if Milwaukee isn't getting to 4 or 5 here, I don't think the Braves offense really factors into it. I think they should be able to get to Quinn Priester, who's not all that great in my eyes, but I would look for the over for the entire game in this one.
I kind of agree with you there. I can't figure out Milwaukee at home, how they can just go. They can't score any runs. They leave a million guys on base, can't get anybody home. It's kind of mind blowing there. But there's Atlanta laying money as a favorite in Milwaukee here tonight. Zen, we appreciate it as always, my man. Colin Ray looking for you a little bit later. In the meantime, more Game Time Decisions coming up next here on the Grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on a Tuesday. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by on the SportsGrid Network as we are getting ready. Plenty of Major League Baseball action on tap here tonight. Handful of games underway, including Miami and Pittsburgh. And all of a sudden, Pittsburgh getting a whole lot of love in the marketplace. No score there in the first. Detroit and Baltimore. Also no score in Cincinnati and the Guardians off and running with no score. We got plenty of other games coming up a little bit later. Let's welcome in our good friend Tom Vecchio here. And Tom, before we start diving in to some of these games coming up, some interesting favorites and some lines here today. But I wanted to get your thoughts about what's happening with the Stanley Cup Finals as the Panthers just absolutely, just destroyed Edmonton last night. Edmonton lost for a team that was supposed to learn from their mistakes a year ago in the Stanley Cup. It was like I'm watching it. What did they learn? They didn't learn anything. They thought they were going to come in and play Florida's game and beat them at their own game, and that didn't work out very well last night.
It didn't, and listen, they started off strong with a couple of penalty kills, the Oilers, that is, but if you're taking, 11 power play opportunities, you're giving, 11 power play opportunities to an opposing team. You could stop them on 3-4 in a row. We see that happen all the time throughout hockey. At a certain point, the coin is going to flip on the Panthers' favor, and it did time and time again. So what we saw from the Oilers, I want to say, is just objectively a failure in that game. It's not a failure for the series overall yet, but we're approaching that point where you are doing things in a way that is not conducive to how you win, right? You're taking penalties, that's obviously terrible. Stuart Skinner himself needs to play better. And just the puck control overall, I am disappointed in, just from a watching perspective, where the Panthers are beating them in every aspect you could possibly think of. The coaching, the lineup changes, top to bottom when it comes to the forwards, the goal scoring, clearing the puck, simple stuff. This game looked like the Oilers were playing the beginning of December, not the beginning of June.
Yeah. And Tom, if you lose your composure like they did last night, that means Florida knows they can get under your skin, which is not going to work out very well. But we do have some tremendous trends that have been happening in this series. We've had 3 overs. How this keeps getting that down to 6 is hilarious. We have 3 first period overs. So we've got, again, team totals all over the map here. It just feels like more goals. Yeah, we ain't sweating an under out here, are we, at any point?
Listen, I want to say that game could have hit the under. And I was talking to someone earlier about this. That game realistically could have ended 3-1, 4-1, and the extra power play opportunities is what pushed it over. So, and listen, Bobrovsky looked okay in the first 2 games, and he was himself in that game. So if they held him to 1 goal, and let's say the Panthers only then scored the 3, maybe 4, and they didn't have those extra power play opportunities, which gives them that extra scoring, the game opens up overall. That game could have very easily ended 4-1, maybe even 3-1. I understand that it's extremely difficult to take an under, but what is the Oilers' path to winning? Just like playing devil's advocate. I don't think if they want to turn it into a track meet, they at least have to do something defensively. They have to protect Stuart Skinner. So I want to say, if you I see an under 6.5 on FanDuel right now, I'd be willing to go into the 6.5. I wouldn't go to 6. Obviously, you just get the push, but I think the unders will start hitting. We will see a flip. Maybe not this game. It may be next game, but also means the Oilers are probably running out of chances at that point.
It'll probably happen in Florida if it's going to happen at all, because in Edmonton, I think, and Bobrovsky is much better at home, and he has been all throughout the postseason at home as opposed to on the road there. So that series is going to be an awful lot of fun. Thursday night, we'll get a game 4 in South Florida. We got plenty of Major League Baseball here
One quick note about hockey before we move on.
Go, shoot.
I haven't seen props. I see some props for goalies, but the save props, I'd be interested in a Sergei Bobrovsky saves overall and or first period saves for Bobrovsky. They have to come out strong, the Oilers, that is. If there's any hope for them, they cannot fall behind. So I'll be looking to some type of Bobrovsky save prop. So that will come around on Thursday. I'll be on the early line Thursday morning with Ben and Donnie to go through that if there's something posted.
Yeah, and you know what? The saves prop, very much in it, because they're going to have to start peppering the net here at some point to get to Bobrovsky. So I like the angle on both of those, maybe even a first period under coming up in this game on Thursday. All right, tonight we're getting ready here. A couple of games already underway. The Yankees and Kansas City I find fascinating. 8.5 is this total. It is stuck there. It is 89 degrees in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. This is a ballpark that if you're a power hitting team, you can probably do some damage here. How would you approach this game with the Yankees tonight?
So I have a little piece of the Yankees' first five, just because Fried is so good. And I've been betting more first fives this season than I have ever before, just because there's so much variance with bullpens and what have you. But both pitchers have been really good. Like Noah Cameron is the young pitcher for the Royals. He has been awesome to start his career. And obviously Fried is awesome, consistently keeping the ball down. He's not giving up home runs. But the weather does present an issue. This is something that we really have to start factoring in as we get to the middle portion of June. We're like, listen, we have great pitchers. Fried is in the Cy Young race, for the AL. Granted, Skubal's the leader, but Fried's up there as one of the top. He could get hit around. Single, double, walk, single, double, walk. All of a sudden, they have 3-4 runs. The Yankees do the runs themselves. They put up 4. Then we're pushing to 9 or 10 runs. So I would be willing to play the over. Again, I have the Yankees, so I don't want to see scoring. I'd like to see keep the variance down. But the over is totally a fine play tonight.
What are you thinking with the Blue Jays and the Cardinals? Red hot Blue Jays come back last night. Do the Cardinals get one in their favor tonight?
I don't mind the Cardinals tonight. I also do like the under. Bassett and Miles Mikolas, a.k.a. the Lizard King, they're both ground ball pitchers. So if they can keep the ball down, this game could realistically, and I wouldn't say 4-2, 4-3 either way. But again, the Blue Jays, they're red hot. I buy into variance, and baseball teams don't win X amount of games in a row or lose X amount of games, whatever it might be. So I like the Cardinals tonight.
Yeah, I kind of like the Cardinals too. They opened up as a dog. I think that line is flipped now. They are a slight favorite at home. One of the better home teams in Major League Baseball. All right, coming up, the Met fans are just beside themselves here. I don't know if they should be. I don't trust them here tonight. We'll see what Tom thinks when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions as we look to close out this hour together. We got much more still to come. Let's welcome back in our good friend Tom Vecchio. Before we get you out of here, Tom, I got to get your thoughts on the Mets and the Nats here tonight. Great pitching matchup. Listen, I was not a Canning believer. What can I say? The guy has been, you're still not. All right, good. All right, I'm not crazy. So tell me what's going to happen in this one tonight.
You know, honestly, like looking at it, I've never been a Griffin Canning supporter or believer. Dating back to his time with the Angels, I just don't think he's a good pitcher. Like, and everyone's talking about the Mets and the pitching staff, like they have some secret sauce going on this year where they're absolutely unbelievable, even though they're not fully healthy. Sean Manaea still isn't there. Mackenzie Gore is an awesome pitcher. He has a 35.4% strikeout rate this season. Now, the Mets, they don't strike out a whole lot versus lefties. They're top 10 in the league for the lowest strikeout rate versus lefties. So I don't mind playing the Nationals first 5 at -104 just because I'm banking on Mackenzie Gore being that pitcher. But maybe there's a way to get both sides where you have the Nats first 5 and the Mets still come away with the win. I don't want to lay the juice on the Mets right now at -146 because I just don't trust Griffin Canning. But an in-game number of closer to even money, I think would be a way to go about it.
Yeah, and we were just talking about the Red Sox at home.
Yeah.
Giolito on the mound, taking on Pepio in Tampa, and we got a ton of runs last night in extra innings. Both bullpens, all the high leverage guys have been used the last 2 or 3 days in a row on both these teams. Is it just, am I missing some? It feels like an over here tonight, does it not?
It really does. Like Giolito, as we were talking during the break, is not the same pitcher he once was. Ryan Pepio is okay. And, you know, the Rays bullpen, it has been getting better. They're on a hot stretch right now, but they're still pretty average overall. And the Red Sox bullpen is terrible. We know that. It's been the way for a couple seasons. So, again, this game is a coin flip. I'm not betting on a money line for either of these teams because, as we saw last week with Giolito, gives up 3 home runs in the first inning to the Angels. It's absolutely beautiful there. The ball's been flying out at Fenway. But the runs, that should be first and foremost for both teams tonight. So give me some runs tonight.
Yeah, and maybe catch the ball in right field, rookie. That would be great here. But all eyes will certainly be there. And home run props here tonight. Is it bad that I trust nobody on the Giants to hit a home run, Tom? Is it that bad?
I mean, that's a great question. They are at Coors, and who's on the, is it Palmquist? Yeah, Palmquist is on the mound for, I mean, I don't think it matters who's on the mound for the Rockies, but you know, we're not getting good numbers. The first one that I would look at would be Jung-Ho Lee at 560. Obviously, he's a lefty, and that's a pretty big number, especially he's a power hitter that we know. Like, I'm not going to Adames at 350 or Ramos at 285, but Jung-Ho Lee at 560 is not bad.
It's actually not bad at all, I guess. And but again, I mean, they are so terrible on so many levels, Colorado. And I didn't realize how awful they are against lefties as well. And sure enough, guess what? They're going to have to face one here tonight in Harrison. So maybe a team total under 4.5 for Colorado, Tom. Can I interest you?
I mean, you could always interest me in unders when it comes to team props. Like, they have some good hitters, like Jordan Beck at the top of their lineup. It has been pretty solid for them since he got called up. Tovar's hurt. Tolia, I believe, got sent down. I'm not sure if he's back up, but they strike out a lot. So could a player like Jordan Beck cash an RBI prop or cash a 2+ total bases, whatever it might be? Sure, but I don't have any faith in their team scoring runs really at any point, unless they play the Marlins, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, now everyone's betting Pittsburgh, which is also hilarious here. Chicago and Philadelphia just underway here, Tom. The rookie Abel against Colin Ray feels like a good spot for the Cubs to bounce back. What are you thinking?
So I have a whole lot of interest in Mick Abel. I picked him up on my Dynasty fantasy team, so I am invested in him theoretically. But, you know, we're getting – the Cubs are an awesome team, and the Phillies have not been hitting at all recently. And they came away with a great win. But if we're getting the Phillies close to the Cubs that is close to even money – like, this is not a line we would get from them when they're at home versus basically anyone else. And we're laying, nearly $1.50 to $2 when the Cubs are home because they're awesome. So I don't mind the Cubs at even money in a bounce back spot.
I kind of like it there. That line, too, flipped from earlier in the day as well. Them and the Cardinals, who started the day out as slight dogs, now slight favorites in those roles. So should be a great night of Major League Baseball. We got plenty more coming up. Tom, as always, we appreciate it, man. We'll see you throughout the week here on the SportsGrid Network. And what a week it's going to be. Game 4, the NHL Stanley Cup coming up on Thursday. Tomorrow we get the NBA finals here in Indiana, knotted up at 1 apiece. Can the Pacers get something done? We'll talk more about it as Game Time Decisions, another hour next here on the grid.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome in Game Time Decisions. A very happy Tuesday to you now, June the 10th, 2025, as we are about a week and a half away from crowning a champion in the NHL as well as the NBA, which is going to leave us a whole lot of Major League Baseball. The dog days of summer will be here before we know it, but we have got you covered. A lot of great storylines, a lot of great prices in Major League Baseball here tonight. A 15-game slate, all-night games. Detroit is the only one right now that I see with a run-up on the board, 1-0 over Baltimore there in the bottom of the second. We got no score with the Cubs and Phillies. And shocker, Pittsburgh and Miami haven't scored a run. I mean, who saw that coming? Bottom of the second, nothing there. But we got much more coming up this hour. U.S. Open predictions. We also have, of course, the NBA Finals, Game 3 in Indiana coming up tomorrow. But let's talk some more Major League Baseball with our good friend Rob Donaldson stepping in here. And no doubt, Rob, we were just talking with this Red Sox game and the Rays coming up. And for who is betting the under? Both bullpens are taxed. Giolito could give up 8 runs in the first 2 innings. Pepio gives the long ball up. So what am I missing here with this game? How are you approaching it?
Yeah, I think you can find a lot of love in both lineups tonight. And to your point, Pepio is probably the stronger link in this game, if you will. But the Red Sox have a bunch of lefties who are tagging baseballs and can definitely go to, town for 5 to 6 innings if he's getting run out there. And on the other side, when you are looking at Lucas Giolito, we decided against the Angels. I don't think the 8-point claim in 1 inning is actually an exaggeration, because that's kind of happened to him multiple times already this season. And for that reason, I actually fell in love with the Rays' first 5 team total over 2.5. You can find it at plus money, and I think the Rays are going to jump out on him early here.
I love that look, by the way. I do. I think both guys are going to be asked to maybe take one for the team, so to speak, here with how bad the bullpens in shape they are here for this one tonight. We got the Mets and the Nats. Now, this is one where on paper, it looks like a pitcher's duel here with Canning versus Gore. What do you think we're going to get in here with the Mets and the Nats?
Well, coming into the year, there was a lot of hype, obviously, for Mackenzie Gore, and Griffin Canning was kind of looking as sort of like a desperation signing where maybe he makes it to June, maybe he doesn't, and all of a sudden, Griffin Canning is posting some really nice numbers. Now, his underlying numbers show that he's going to experience a lot of positive regression as the season plays out here, and when you look at the Washington Nationals lineup just in general, my goodness, you want to talk about a bunch of hitters from the left side of the plate. We just talked about the Red Sox. The Nationals actually have one of the more dangerous sort of lefty on righty battling matchups in Major League Baseball. And I think this is going to be a really great night for guys like a James Wood or Nathaniel Lowe or a Tanya, and Alex Call's even in the mix there too. And for that reason, I actually think the Washington Nationals in this game are really a good value price on the full game money line or on that first 5 money line.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen, but the Nats bullpen has been better as of late. Not that makes them bet on, but it feels like a good first 5 opportunity with the Nats. You trust the Nats to get the Canning before the Mets can get the Gore in that first 5?
Yeah, I do. Mackenzie Gore's been really dealing, especially the last 2 times out. And it's kind of one of those things where if you look at the strikeout numbers, where you look at the hard hit numbers that he's not allowing, man, this could be a really special season for Mackenzie Gore here on the back end. I think the Nats are going to strike first. And even if the Mackenzie Gore does kind of go out there and give up 3 or 4, I still think the Nationals are going to be ahead after that first 5.
Yeah, I like that. I like that look for sure. And I do not like the look of having to lay money with Atlanta anywhere at any time against anybody right now. Nice win last night. Kind of got off the schneid, broke the losing streak. But now they are on the road. Milwaukee again. Grant Holmes on a mound. Priester from Milwaukee. Are we laying money with Atlanta?
I'm taking the bait, man, and I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from, and if you want to stay away from Atlanta completely, that's 100%. I would say a long-term smart play. But when you are looking at this particular matchup, I just kind of feel like Quinn Priester is one of these guys who goes out there, gives up a ton of hard contact in the early goings, and then doesn't really pay for it to the extent that I think he should. And are the Braves lineup, just in general, kind of all over the place, sporadic for sure. But if they can't get it done against a guy who's given up a boatload of hard contact and with a guy on the bump and Grant Holmes, who's actually pitching really well, I just don't know where the spot might be for this team. And for that reason, minus 120, I'm willing to kind of bite it right here.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I was one that believed Atlanta's slow start to the season, it could only go up from there. They get Acuna back, and injuries continue to mount with that staff, and next thing you know, they can't hit. They're finding ways to lose games, getting swept out west there by the Giants. So maybe this is a start of something. And can you help me understand why Milwaukee can't hit at home now all of a sudden? I mean,
yeah.
What happened to them, Rob?
I honestly have no clue. They went out against Philadelphia in that series in Philly and scored like 50 runs in 3 games. And then literally now they just can't hit. And I feel like this is more traditional of what we see from Milwaukee as seasons play out. They do go through these kind of weird offensive stretches, but those are usually few and far between. They've always leaned on their pitching, but I think this pitching rotation in particular, as opposed to past years, has a lot more opportunity for regression. And this is kind of one of those spots where I'm willing to buy in on it.
Listen, Milwaukee is a very frustrating team, and hopefully they'll be able to get some arms back here as we progress there into Central. But what do we do with the Dodgers tonight, who had a nice win against the Padres Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. And it looks like Trevino looks like they're going to go bullpen here for the. What choice do the Dodgers have? They don't have anybody healthy left to actually start a game here. So, but do we trust Cease? Feels like he's gotten beat up here a little bit lately.
Yeah, Cease has been a weird one because his underlying numbers are really good, but he'll go from one really great outing of like 6 innings pitched and no hit ball to giving up like 5 earned runs within the first 2 innings. And that just kind of makes him like an ultimate wild card when you're betting that side, especially when you have a Padres lineup that really hasn't looked, I guess, explosive with a lot of consistency. Now, the Dodgers bullpen is getting back Kirby Yates, Michael Kopech on the back end of this game. So, that's going to be something to factor in and how those guys are sort of used in a long reliever role. But to your point, I feel like this is just an ultimate wild card game. Maybe bet the over or just stay away from it, but I don't really have a strong angle either way.
Are we all jumping on the White Sox wagon? They're in Houston. This feels like an under to me. McCullers been much better last couple of outings, and Smith is a legit frontline starter that the White Sox have. What are we thinking?
Yeah, a lot of upside with this White Sox rotation, and honestly, I don't even mind a money line spot in this game given the price that they're kind of getting laid right here. And McCullers has been a little bit better, but the Houston bullpen hasn't. And I feel like if the White Sox can have a lead after that first 6 innings, they're probably in a good spot.
Like that. Rob Donaldson, always a pleasure, my man. Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
All right. right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Tuesday now. I'm Joe Raineri, and we mentioned plenty of Major League Baseball here tonight. Great stuff happening this week. You got to love it as we're sitting here June 10th. That means we're that much closer to crowning a Stanley Cup champion again, as well as an NBA champion. But let's not forget, sandwiched in between here, we have the third major of the year on the PGA Tour, and it's the 125th edition of the U.S. Open at Oakmont. And boy, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Let's bring in our good friend Brady Cannon, who deals in outright winners here, folks, on the PGA Tour. If you're new to the show, that's all he does is just dishes. He's like Oprah. You got a winner. You got a winner. So I'm looking very forward to what your card looks like here, Brady. But here we go at Oakmont. Let's start with the course. What do we know about this course? How long is the rough? And does course history come into effect for you this week?
Well, there's, I think more so, Joe, U.S. Open history. Okay. This is a nomadic championship. We don't play at the same course all the time, but this will be the 10th time the U.S. Open has been held at Oakmont, which is a record number of times. It's held the championship more so than any other venue in the world. And it was last year in 2016 when a few guys in this field were here. In fact, Scotty Scheffler was here as an amateur, played very well. John Rahm was here as an amateur and finished 23rd, his last event as an amateur in 2016. And Dustin Johnson won it that year with a score of 4 under par. Prior to that, it was 2007 when Angel Cabrera won with a score of 5 over par. The U.S. Open has always been billed as the most difficult test of golf there is on the planet. And I tell you what, it's often labeled as the most difficult golf course in the world is Oakmont. So this ought to be brutal. There's all kinds of bunkers, 168 bunkers. There's very few flat lies. The fairways are tilted. They're narrow. They're only about 28 yards wide. You asked about the rough. It's going to begin at 5 inches, and then they're just going to let it grow. And I tell you what, it's been wet in the area too. So that rough is not only long, but it's thick and wet and gnarly, and it'll grab a club very easily. I think, we often hear guys talk about, especially Augusta National, where we cover it so heavily, that it's a second shot golf course. We know the fairways there are wide, and it's all about your approach shot. I think here at Oakmont, it's a first shot golf course. If you're having trouble off the tee all week, you're going home on Friday.
There's so many guys here, obviously, with Scotty Scheffler being just under 3-1 as the favorite, and really at this point, deservedly so. Let's start with the other guy, though, the reigning champion, DeChambeau. Back-to-back top fives in both majors so far this year. For whatever reason, he just shows up here on these big stages now. You mentioned first shot golf course. Is there any value in DeChambeau and repeating in this thing?
I think there is. He's in the neighborhood of 7 or 8 to 1, and you figure he's going to be there. He's got the power. This is a big boy golf course, that's for sure, but it's not mammoth either. It's just under 7,400 yards and a par 70. So that's what we saw a few weeks ago at the Truist Championship, the Philadelphia Cricket Club. I mean, it's definitely got some teeth, but it's not necessarily a 7,800 yard Torrey Pines either, where only the bombers can really get it done. In 2007 and 2016, I mentioned who was the runner-up? Jim Furyk. Just all he does is hit fairways and greens, a short knocker. So those guys can flourish here too. Now, when Bryson won the U.S. Open in 2020 at Winged Foot, kind of a similar setup, but he employed the bomb and gouge theory. He didn't care where his ball was going. He was going to hit it as far as he could. And if it went in the rough, he was going to hit it out of the rough and yada, yada. I don't know if you can employ that strategy at Oakmont, because you're going to find not only really nasty rough, but you're also going to find a lot of bunkers. You're going to find trouble. There's ditches here that are, 6 feet deep with, literally knee-high grass. So you can't just, be unwielding with the driver and not have some thought process. Now, Bryson's pretty accurate with the big stick as well. So but I just don't feel like he's going to defend the title. It doesn't happen too often. He's never successfully defended a title. Is he a bad bet? No. The guy, I mean, it's the big five, right, Joe? Take your pick. Do you want Rahm? Do you want Scotty? Do you want Bryson? Do you want Xander? Or you want Rory? You can't pick them all. You can probably pick two at the most.
All right, so let me ask you, we ask all the time, this is our starting point. U.S. Opens historically, you're not shooting 20 under on these golf courses here, Brady. Do we get I think he was 9 under last year when he won DeChambeau. I mean, is it a double-digit winner this year under par?
Boy, I tell you, if somebody gets to double digits, give me that guy's name right now, because I'm going to bet him and I'm going to put my house on it. The winning score proposition bet this week, Joe, is 1.5 under par.
What?
And 1.5 under par. That's how hard this place is. And I actually think, I actually like the under. I think 3 or 4 is going to be a winning score. But you never know. Like I said, in 2007, Angel Cabrera won with 5 over. Spheric was second, and also Tiger Woods was second. So, I mean, even Tiger was shooting 6, 7 over par over the course of 4 days. Now, the course is a little bit soft. We did see some soft conditions in 2016 as well. You give these guys a soft track and they can score. So I don't think it's going to be crazy by any means, but I think 3 or 4 under is a spot a lot of guys would take right now.
Now, I enjoy this because those kinds of golf courses, there's a lot of crying on the golf course. We always say there's no crying. Those guys are going to be crying when they can't get it out of the rough, complaining left and right. Makes me feel much better about my golf game there, Brady. So when we come back, let's take a look at your card. And I am looking for a handful of guys to fade this week. Maybe they don't
got
even
a couple
make
for you.
it. Oh, I love it. I'm looking for guys that ain't making it to the weekend and a couple of head-to-head opportunities. We'll break it down for you as Game Time Decisions continues.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Here we go. Game Time Decisions, the 125th edition of the U.S. Open on the PGA Tour begins this week. Brady Cannon here with us. And Brady, I asked, give me a couple of guys that may not actually be playing on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I'm looking for a couple of nice, juicy head-to-heads that guys will be playing on Saturday, Sunday versus guys who will not be playing. Give me a couple of names here.
Right. Yeah. And I haven't seen the exact matchups with these two guys, but I bet him in the to miss the cut market. And I may dive into some matchups and go against him that way as well. Now, one of them probably won't surprise you a whole lot. I'm going against Wyndham Clark. I really go back to last year's Masters, not this year's Masters, but last year's Masters. I don't think he's really ever been the same since. He's had a number of finishes. I think his last 7 starts have all been, 40 something, 50 something. His best one was like 27th. And it was just last week at the Memorial. He almost finished dead last, barely made the cut, and then was almost dead last. Now, we know he's a former U.S. Open winner, but again, I just have not seen that form, and he's really struggling. We talked about work off the tee. He's really struggling off the tee. The accuracy off the tee is completely absent. I think he's going to find himself in that rough. He's going to find himself in those bunkers, and I think he's going to really struggle here. He's actually minus money. You have to lay a price that Wyndham, he's an underdog to make the cut. I laid minus 120 with Wyndham Clark to miss the cut. And then the other one is one of the big boys who might surprise you a little bit. I almost went with Rory. And I know my colleague Keith Stewart likes Rory to miss the cut. Obviously, he has been struggling as of late, and you can get 3-1 or better on him. I went with Justin Thomas at 2-1, plus 200 on JT to miss the cut. He's played the U.S. Open 10 times. He's missed the cut 4 times, and he's only finished under par once. And that was in 2017 when they played at Erin Hills, and the winning score was 16 under. So, yeah, no wonder he finished under par that year. No other U.S. Open has he ever finished under par. And he is another guy like Clark that is getting squirrely with the driver off the tee. And if he can't find the fairway, he's 94th. He's below average on tour for strokes gained off the tee and 121st in driving accuracy. That's not a good formula here at Oakmont. I got to bet against the guy to not be around for the weekend.
Love both of those. Let's take a look at your card here. I asked you about a live player earlier, Bryson DeChambeau, but you've got your eye on another live golfer here, Brady, this week for Yacht Right winners.
Yeah, Jon Rahm. I mean, all he does is finish top 10 literally every single week on the LIV circuit. He's never finished worse than top 10 in his LIV career. Royal Liverpool, the site of the British Open a couple of years ago when Brian Harman, that's a correlated course for me. He was runner-up there. Last British Open, he had another top 10 finish. And I think that kind of started a run for him where he has gotten, he has come really close in these majors once again. He played very well at the Masters, made a little run there on the weekend. We know what he did at the PGA Championship. He was right there with Scotty for a minute until he fell off on Sunday. I think the guy is really close to being ready to make that charge again. He's got a U.S. Open in his pocket. He did it at Torrey Pines on Poana greens, which they have here at Oakmont as well. We know he can bomb the ball. I think he's a U.S. Open type player. He's won one. So I'm ready to go with Rahm again, especially at a nice price, anywhere from about 12 to 14 to 1. Pretty good number on one of those big 5. Then I go to Patrick Cantlay. In 9 visits to the U.S. Open, he's never missed a cut. And he's got progressively better the last few years. Finished 15th, 14th, and last year he was 3rd. Then Tommy Fleetwood. I know it's hard to take this guy, but he is the quintessential U.S. Open type. It's his best major. He's finished top 5 here 3 times, including runner-up at Shinnecock. Hits it straight, hits greens, makes putts. He does everything you're supposed to do. Maybe he'll finally kick that door down. Sepp Straka, same thing. Brilliant iron player, great putter, finds fairways. Same thing with Russell Henley. It's like those 3 guys are the same players. They're just like Jim Furyk and Payne Stewart and Lee Janzen. Right down the middle of the fairway, hit the green, move on, take your par. And then I went with a couple of long bombs. Denny McCarthy, who's done very well at some big boy golf courses. And our man, Harris English. Won at Torrey Pines earlier this year, runner-up at the PGA Championship. He has a stellar record in U.S. Open Championship. So we'll see if Harry English can do it for us once again.
Yeah, I like Denny McCarthy, too. You got to be able to putt when you're looking
right.
at even par. And he can putt there. Brady, we appreciate it, my man. We'll talk more as Game Time Decisions continues here on the grid.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday night, Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in, off and running here. Game Time Decisions on the SportsGrid Network on this Tuesday. I'm Joe Raineri, is getting ready. A whole lot of Major League Baseball on tap here tonight. Couple of games underway, and don't look now, the Miami Marlins out in front. Sandy Alcantara on the mound for them, taking on Mitch Keller. 2-0, top of the fourth there for the Miami Marlins, who got beat up pretty good by the Pirates yesterday. 2-1 Philadelphia right now at home. A 2-run home run puts them on top of the Cubs. We're in the third there. 2-0 Washington jumps out in front of the Mets, and Canning there, top of the second, 2-0. Gore pitching for the Nats here tonight. 1-1 in the Baltimore and Detroit game. That is in the top of the fourth. And will you look at this, top of the second inning, and we already got 2 runs on the board for the Red Sox. 2-0 right now at Fenway, in a game that we all kind of shrugged our head and couldn't understand why the under was taking so much love. But 2-0 there, top of the second. Giolito on the mound for the Red Sox. And Cincinnati and the Guardians. Cincinnati has dominated the Guardians this year. I think they've won every game they've played against them. This is the 5th game. They're 4-0. And wouldn't you know it, that also happens to be Terry Francona's former team. And he apparently knows the right buttons to push to beat the Guardians. No score here, though. Abbott versus Ciccone in that one there. But nothing bottom of the fourth. We got plenty more games getting ready to come up here. Toronto and St. Louis a couple of minutes away from taking center stage, as well as Texas, Tyler Mahle, the Rangers, looking to get it done against the Minnesota Twins. And the Twins welcome back S. Woods Richardson off the IL in there. We've got a total of 9 in Minnesota. And this is a one where we saw some over money come in early today, but Tyler Mahle has been great, but it does feel like he's pitched a little bit over his pay grade this year. And the question is, do we trust this Minnesota lineup to make him pay? Don't know about that. I don't love S. Wood Richardson at all. Certainly feels like the over might be the way to look there. And the Yankees getting ready to take on the Kansas City Royals in Kansas City. Max Fried on the mound for the Yankees here. I went with their first 5 team total over 2.5. I believe Noah Cameron, nothing not to like about this kid, could have a tremendous career. And whatever the reason for the Kansas City Royals, they seem to be able to get these young arms and even maybe some of these wily veterans who get pushed to the side, like a Seth Lugo or a Michael Wacha. But Reagan's comes to mind. Now you got 25-year-old Noah Cameron has a 0.85 ERA in 5 starts over 31 2/3 innings of work. Problem out, he's only struck out 19 batters. He's walked 10. Not great. Some of his underlying metrics tell us probably been a little fortunate to this point. I don't know that the Yankee lineup is the one that you are hoping to be able to get away with things going your way. Great start to his career. I think he's going to be great. I don't think he's going to be great tonight against this Yankees lineup, who will make him pay for those balls up in the zone and out over the plate there. So I'm going to go with the Yankees to get to him way before the Royals ever think about getting to Max Fried. I'll take Yankees first 5. I'll also take the Yankees first 5 team total over 2.5. I think that's a good spot for them here tonight. And again, tomorrow, let's not forget, the NBA will take center stage as we have got game 3 between the Indiana Pacers, who much happy to be home here instead of at OKC, which under the radar has become one of the best home court advantages in the NBA. It's been like that all year. But game 3s also have not been great for the Pacers in the postseason. I believe in that first series against Milwaukee, they lost 117-101. Then I believe they took a 2-0 lead over the Cavaliers. And then all of a sudden the Cavs came in to Indiana and they smoked them 126-104. They also lost to the Knicks 106-100 in game 3 in Indy. And that was in the Eastern Conference Finals. So does that trend continue here? Don't know if it does or it doesn't, because we all know that the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are not the same team on the road than what they have been at home. We've seen some of their worst performances be on the road. But whatever it is, Indiana is going to need to win one of these next 2 games if they're going to have a shot to win this series. So I do think the motivation will be there. Rick Carlisle, one of the best coaches in the NBA, certainly from an X's and O's perspective, he will give his guys and come up with a game plan to give them an opportunity to be able to get one of these next 2. But they do not, under any circumstances, want to have to go back to OKC down 3-1. So I do think that either way, if they lose game 3, I'm going to be all over them in game 4. If they win game 3, I'm probably zigzagging my way here for these next couple of games in games 3 and 4 in Indiana with these teams. I mean, the Thunder are the better basketball team. We know this, but something tells me just pick the winner in these games. I don't see the spread coming into play in any one of these games at all. Right now, you're looking at Indiana getting 5.5 points as a home dog. Total also interesting, 228.5 in this one. And something tells me, listen, you're going to need to hit threes if you're Indiana, and you're going to need to limit the success of shooting threes for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I want to bet an under, and I can't get there in this series just simply because most of these games, I think, are going to be one of two things. They are either going to shoot lights out from three, and they are going to score more than enough points themselves to be able to help us get this thing to 230 points, or OKC is not going to risk taking their foot off the gas at all in this series after they did that in game one, and look how that worked out. The problem is, I think Oklahoma City will have absolutely no problem continuing. If they've got them and the threes aren't falling for Indiana, I can see them without a doubt dropping 120 or more points and not thinking twice about it. Don't know that we're going to get that 110, 105 game here in this series between these two teams. It's a math problem for Indiana. They have to hit more threes than the Oklahoma City Thunder do. Oklahoma City is not a great three-point shooting team, but they will dominate you in the paint, at the free throw line, and off the bench. The only way you can combat that is by hitting your threes, and nobody has been better from three in the postseason than the Indiana Pacers. They are going to need to be excellent from the perimeter in one, if not both, of these next two games. 2-2 going back to OKC, or will it be the dreaded 3-1? This is all going to depend on what kind of effort we get from Rick Carlisle and the Pacers tomorrow. Should be an awful lot of fun. We'll have much more on this game, as well as take a look at a couple of WNBA games that are on the slate. We'll do that when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent the message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday Night Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Getting ready for a big night on the Diamond here. Actually, a couple of games in the WNBA as well. One of them already underway here with Indiana and Atlanta. They are in the first quarter. They are 11-10 right now. Indiana on top on the road. The Chicago Sky taking on the New York Liberty. That will be coming up at the top of the hour. And shocker, the Liberty laying 16.5 points here. But the good news is at the top of the hour, not only will you get that game, you'll get our next guest too. The man we'll pass the baton to here for in-game live, Scotty Wetzel in the house. And you and I were just laughing at the Chicago Sky are terrible in the WNBA. I mean, it's tough to watch. I don't know that there's a number high enough here for the Liberty. Liberty can win this game by as many points as they want. There are just the haves and the have-nots, it feels like, in the WNBA this year. And there's really no in-between, is there, Scott?
There really isn't. You got maybe three teams, Joe. You would admit Minnesota, New York. You would throw Vegas in there. And then the rest, Indiana, if Caitlin Clark comes back, I imagine, would compete for that. But otherwise, it's just bad. The NBA or WNBA really has a split. Unlike the NBA, where we're finding out this year it's pretty balanced. But, yeah, Chicago, they might be the worst team. When everything is said and done, especially as we were saying with Golden State, the expansion team, doing actually halfway decent, Chicago and good old Angel Reese may end up being the bottom feeder as the worst team in the WNBA this season.
Absolutely crazy. And by the way, we do have the Mets are on the board 3-1 now in the bottom of the second inning in their game against the Nats. Couple of games coming up here, though, Scotty, including Minnesota, I believe, getting ready to S. Woods Richardson getting ready to take the mound. They got him back from injury. Tyler Mahle for Texas. What were you thinking in this one?
Yeah, Joe, listen, we do this once, twice a week, right? And we kind of have the same team since we come on, after some of the early games have started. And I keep on saying the same thing with the Texas Rangers. Keep going with their unders, and they keep on winning. I mean, it's a broken record, but the record sounds pretty good. I mean, 25 out of 23, road games, the last 23, 18-5 under. They're the number one under team in all of baseball. That's all they produced, 46, 19-1. They got 27 more unders than overs this season. That is just amazing. They scored 4 runs or less in all but 18 of their 66 games this year. They don't score. They can't score, and they can pitch. So, and you keep on getting numbers like you're getting tonight, 9. I mean, I don't know how you're giving me a 9 in a Texas Ranger game unless the opposing team scores 10. Give me the under Texas and Minnesota, under 9.
I like that. By the way, Aaron Judge goes yard top of the first there at Kauffman Stadium, 2-0. The Royals down here going into the bottom of the first inning there. Max Fried for the Yankees here tonight in that one. How about it? Colorado is at home facing a left-handed pitcher and Harrison of the Giants. How many runs are we laying with the Giants here tonight, Scott? Where are we going with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a double winner here, Joe. You can like 2.5, 3.5, whatever the number is. Go ahead, right? Say this is the worst situation for the Rockies, who are bad, just generally speaking, anyway, obviously. But they're 1-9 at home, including 5 straight losses. I don't think being at home is going to help them any. They're 6-28. Yeah, I know they had that 3-game winning streak against Miami, but that's been an afterthought. Since then they haven't won. San Fran, as I mentioned, has won 5 in a row. They're 8-1 their last 9 against Colorado. So we're going to lay the 1.5 on San Fran. And then we're going to go under 11, maybe 11.5, depending on where and when you do your shopping, because this has got under written all over it. San Francisco, first off, 14-1 under its last 15 games. They keep on pounding out the unders. The series is 8-4 under, and I looked it up. 8 of the last 10 meetings have produced 11 runs or less. So you're not getting any help out of Colorado. They can't score, least runs in all of baseball. So it's a big, fat number. I get that. But give me a San Francisco like 9-1, 8-2 type of win. They cover the 1.5, and the game goes under.
Yeah, are you buying the Chicago White Sox and this streak now? Are you thinking they can roll into Houston and take down the Astros tonight, or are you thinking otherwise?
Nah, I'm going to go with Houston minus 175 or so. McCullers, I know he had that bad start. We had the incident off the field. He got threatened and everything. But he's actually pitched fairly well since then. Astros at home. They're playing great ball. White Sox 1-9, Joe, their last 10 road games. They can't win on the road. Not that they can win, in Chicago either. But, they're especially bad on the road, 1-9. Houston 10-4, their last 14, 9-3, their last 12 at home. They turned things around. I'll take the Astros. Anytime I can go against the White Sox at home, laying less than 2-1, I don't have to lay the 1.5. I'm all over it. Give me Houston tonight.
I love that. All right, we got to get to this because this is a opposite picks special here. I haven't gotten one of these in a long time, ladies and gentlemen, but nobody puts these random things together quite like Scotty Wetzel. So what did you come up with for us here tonight, Scotty?
Yeah, I tell you, I saw it on FanDuel. It's a big icon, but there's only one bet there, and that is, will both the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals go at least 6 games? And that's the key. Not 6 exactly, at least 6. And they're giving you plus odds, plus 108 it was this afternoon, Joe. I mean, listen, I love Florida. I said they were going to win in 6. So I think that series, despite what we saw last night, will go 6. So it's basically whether you're betting on will Indiana win one more game, right? And that's all it takes for them to be a 6-game series. And I think they will. They haven't lost 2 in a row at home all season. So to think that they're going to lose games 3 and 4, then lose game 5, I don't think it's going to happen. And you're giving me pick-em odds for them to be able to win one of those 2 games. So I love that bet. Plus 108 for both series to go 6 games or more. Absolutely. Love that. That's a pull-over side of the road bet we used to call on our morning show here on SportsGrid. Don't even wait to get to work. Yeah. Pull over now before they change the odds and they realize they made a mistake with them.
Yeah, listen, they got 2 games at home. They've been tremendous at home all year long. Indiana, OKC, not a great road team. They just got to win one of the next 2, Scotty and Indiana. If it ain't game 3, it's got to be game 4. Great stuff as always. We'll see you at the top of the hour. Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
I got a feeling Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Plenty of takeaways from Yankees-Dodgers where LA sent a message on Saturday, and the only way the Yankees could salvage it was somehow beating Yamamoto, and they did.
You're staring a sweep in the face. And after losing the World Series, knowing what the opponent is, you know what the narrative would have been on Sunday night, Monday. Oh, Yankees get swept by the Dodgers.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Here we are, Game Time Decisions on this Tuesday on the Sports Grid Network. Don't go anywhere, though. We got in-game live coming up in just a few minutes. Scott Wetzel and the crew will have you covered with all 15 Major League Baseball games, in fact, on tap here for tonight. Take a look ahead to tomorrow with the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, an all-important Game 3 in Indiana. Indiana did wrestle away home court advantage by winning Game 1 in unbelievable fashion. Now they just got to get one of the next two and get back to OKC with this at least tied 2-2, because the alternative it would not be good for the Indiana Pacers. So a lot at stake for that game tomorrow. And then Thursday, a lot at stake for the Edmonton Oilers, who came to South Florida last night looking to bestow in all the knowledge that they gained from losing the cup last year to the Florida Panthers. And then they showed up and, well, did exactly what they did a year ago, which didn't allow them to win the cup. They got some issues going on right now with the Edmonton Oilers, but they got a couple of days between that Game 4 coming up on Thursday. A lot can still happen, but what a series that is turning out to be. In the meantime, we've got updates for you across the board in Major League Baseball as the Cubs have hit, I believe now, 3 solo shots against the rookie Abel of the Philadelphia Phillies. So the Cubs retake the lead 3-2 in that one. The Marlins have tacked on a run against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Sandy Alcantara looking Sandy-like. A little turn in the page here. Looks much better against this Pittsburgh lineup. 3-0 right now. Miami on top there. The Washington Nationals behind Mackenzie Gore, 3-1 in the bottom of the third. They are on top of the Mets. Atlanta and Milwaukee right away, just underway in Milwaukee. Atlanta, a road favorite coming off that win last night. Grant Holmes on the mound for Atlanta. Quinn Priester, the rookie for Milwaukee, who suddenly can't score any runs at home now, which is very, very weird here. But that game just underway. We still have a 2-0 Red Sox lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, bottom of the third. Detroit just keeps scoring runs, 5-1 right now in the top of the fifth. And for the life of us, we talked to Mark Zinno last hour, and he was scratching his head saying, why in the world are the Orioles, even at home, a favorite over the team that has one of the best records in Major League Baseball? And none of us could come up with a legitimate answer. And, well, here it is, 5-1, top of the fifth, Detroit in that game. Aaron Judge gets a 2-run bomb in the top of the first inning. Yankees are on top of the Royals, 2-0 there. They are in the top of the second. Also, Cincinnati pitching pretty well. Abbott, the lefty, and the Guardians are having a whole lot of problems hitting left-handed pitching this season. It shows again. I think they've got one hit working and no runs. It's 1-0 Reds right now in the bottom of the fifth inning in that one there. And Toronto opens it up top of the first with a 3-run top of the first inning. They are on top of the Cards, 3-0 Bassett on the mound for Toronto. Miles Mikolas, who, by the way, I don't think the Cards have lost a start of his yet this year. That's not a great start. 3-0 right now, Toronto. They are in the bottom of the first inning. Coming up, San Francisco and Colorado next hour. In Colorado, Harrison, the lefty, on the mound. And for all the problems the Guardians are having this year, hitting left-handed pitching, and they're not, there is no worse team against left-handed pitching than the Colorado Rockies. And Harrison, pretty good there for San Francisco as a lefty. I think maybe their Colorado team total under 4.5 would be a look for me. We just talked to Scott Wetzel. He told you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not anticipating a ton of runs by either of these lineups, even in Coors Field. under 11.5 might not be a bad look in that one. We are also just after the top of the hour, I think, going to get a pretty good pitching battle with Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound for Houston, taking on the suddenly red-hot White Sox. Get ready. Much more Major League Baseball coming your way. In-game live is next. We'll see you again tomorrow on Game Time.